So it's super late and I can't sleep. So I decided to do a no visual video where you're just gonna hear me and not actually see me. And I think that'll be kind of beneficial because I look like Frankenstein right now and it's like 3 a.m. in Phoenix. So, um, alright, mentally, today is April the 8th, 2020. If this is your first time coming to my blog, this is kittybworld.wordpress.com. It's your girl Kitty Bodega. Like I said, I normally make these videos where I show my face, but like I said, it's 3 a.m. and I just kind of wanted to get this out because I've been having a lot on my head lately, and this is why I created the blog. Sometimes in life, right, you'll be surrounded by maybe people of likeness or difference. Sometimes these people can be, classmates, they can be friends, they can be family, they can be strangers, they could be just anyone. Um, Sometimes what happens is um, we get stuck in our journey of evolving, and um, we become complacent with what we have, and then see, I can't even do that. I have to speak about past experiences because even when I'm trying to say something and refer it in a way that makes it just doesn't work for me like that. So I'll just do it like this. A couple years ago, um, I had a really bad thing with accountability. Accountability, right? I didn't hold myself accountable for things that I was 100% in fault for, whether it be by thought or an action. Circumstantially, I was at fault for whatever I was receiving at the time. But I had this victim mentality that everything was happening to me, and it was everybody's fault. It was everybody else's fault but mine. I didn't have this when I was growing up, so this is why I do this now. And I didn't do this, and I didn't. I had a lot of excuses as to why I couldn't do a lot of things that I wanted to do and be who I wanted to be, because I had so many excuses piled up. And I had an excuse for everything. I mean, you name it, and I had an excuse for it. Oh, but I mean, I had an excuse, and I cannot lie. This is a piece of me that it took two people to kind of call me out on it. And it was respectively, of course. But it took me a while to kind of grasp what they were really wanting me to understand. And the funny part is both of them are Aquarius, and they don't know each other, and there's about a 14 or 15 year age gap between them. But two completely different people, both male, have nothing to do with each other. The only thing that they have in common is myself. And they're both telling me that I kind of have this mentality where I blame things on other people. And at first I was very defensive about it and very dismissive. I'm like, I have a good reason to feel like why I feel like that. I've been traumatized. I grew up in a lot of different things. My environment in my childhood wasn't shaky, but a lot of the things that I dealt with as a child were maybe not my fault, and I felt like a lot of the things that I was dealing with as an adult were, I guess, I don't know the word for it, but I guess I felt like, I felt like, I felt entitled, and I felt like a lot was owed to me because of the pain that I had to endure as a child. And I felt that the world was unfair, and I ultimately just didn't really have a very good view of myself or my future for that matter. Um, this is after massage school, by the way. So, um, even though I knew what I wanted to do in my life, I didn't have, I won't even say the direction or motivation, because the drive has always been there. But I needed to work on some things in order for me to really be in this space to receive anything. Um, I'm trying to think about how I actually got over this. Um, I think the second person just kind of really, the way that it wasn't just, it wasn't just talking about the instance. I guess it was just showing me examples and then helping me see clearer as far as other things, which made me more aware of when I was using this victim mindset, right? And I just, I just have to, you have to, I'm like stumbling right now because you really have to be, I'm very thankful for these two individuals. And I always tell them that, not always, but I do tell them that. And I do go back and I'm like, I do apologize for being defensive and not wanting to hear about myself at that time, because it was something about myself that I needed to change and ultimately became the key to my future successes. Because the moment that I realized that I had a part to play in all of the circumstances that I had put myself in, it really got hard to put the blame on anybody else. And it's funny because I'm thinking about this and I'm also thinking about in an instance when it actually snapped for me, when I actually made the connection and I wrote about it. And I don't really remember, verbatim what I said, but I was thankful for that lesson being brought to my attention, because I knew that it was basically like a blindfold being lifted off of me, and I was gaining the ability to see for myself and see the world from a new perspective that I honestly hadn't been looking at and thinking of before. And in your life, you know, you may come across people, and like I'm saying, they may be your friends, they may be, family, they may be people on the street, they may be strangers, whoever, but you have to appreciate people not just with a higher level of consciousness, but you have to appreciate people who see things in you and really want to help you remove, I want to call it a blockage, because that's what it was. I was blocking myself from my blessings because I had this mentality that I was entitled to a lot. Oh, I'm, this because I've been hurt, and a lot of people don't know some of the things that I've been through. And I don't know, I'm still thinking about writing this book, and actually, now would be the great time to finish it. But it's actually on a whole other computer, and I would have to do a whole lot. But, anyways, um, you have to appreciate people like that because I can imagine it being kind of hard at the time when the first person told me. It was a manager of mine, and I was working with them, and we were kind of working close together. We were basically working one on one, and we were going out into the field. And so basically, the things that he was saying to me were true. I just didn't feel like at the time that I knew him well enough for him to be saying this about me, because I'm like, you don't know me. Like, we want to wear our scars as arms of badgers, but they're not. You know what real arms or badges it's not about checks or stripes, really. It's not. The more that I think about it, it's not. You know, we go through things to teach us things and to sharpen our tool belts and to, broaden our tool belts. And yes, sharpen our tool belts, because you can't do anything with dull tools, but you can't do anything with no tools either. And that's what I'm saying. You gotta appreciate people who come into your life and teach you things about yourself that you may not otherwise have the chance to see. And I know sometimes we can take that for granted, right? Because we want to feel like we're misunderstood and we're these things, and but really everybody is on the same shit. There's not one person on this planet that hasn't fallen from trying to walk. There's not one person on this planet that hasn't cried from a good ass movie or a sad ass movie or a funny ass movie. They cried laughing. No, we all live synonymously. For whatever reason, we have this ideal that, we're just bigger and better and boasty. No, 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 no. Nobody's better than the next. In all honesty, everybody's gonna die, and everybody shits, and everybody bleeds, and everybody cries. So when you think about that in comparison to being able to receive something when somebody is telling it to you, take yourself off that pedestal. Because I had myself on a pedestal. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this man is talking to, but he ain't talking to me. And I put myself on a pedestal because I felt like there's no way you can be telling me this. And have you read the story? Did you read the small print? And it's not always like that. There are good people out here. There are genuine people out here who really want to see other people strive for success and to succeed. And I don't believe that the world is all like, bad. I feel like a lot of us feel that way because we have a lot of bad thoughts, but it doesn't mean that the world is bad. And I said all of that to say this, be mindful of yourself. Be mindful of the situations that you put yourself into. And ask yourself, like, damn, like, this ain't on nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the stuff that I did, it wasn't on nobody else. It wasn't. It was all on myself. Prime example, when I was a kid, um, I used to make the honor roll all the time. And one year, I guess, which actually turned into the rest of my life, I'm like, I'm not going to be making the honor roll if I'm going to be going to the breakfasts by myself. Like, how am I, giving you, how am I supposed to be doing all this, making the honor roll, making like all A's and like maybe one B or two B's, and I'm sitting at these honor roll breakfasts by myself when I'm supposed to be with my parents, who are supposed to be celebrating this accomplishment with me, and you're not here with me, but you taking my honor roll papers to work, but you're not making it. I had a lot of conflicting issues when I was a kid, and ultimately, in that instance of me, I guess, taking myself out of the victim role and looking back and being like, it really wasn't that bad, because I shitted myself out of, I don't know, who knows? I could have been a child prodigy. I could have graduated earlier. I could have, there's so many what ifs and shoulda, woulda, couldas at that point. So I'm saying don't deprive yourself of any opportunities because you're wanting to be stuck in a space that is not right. Everybody has something to gripe over, right? But don't hold on to it so much that it enables you to move forward. If I could go back, I don't even want to go back that far, but if I could go back, I would totally do that whole time over just to see, just to see what I really could have accomplished if I would have taken my mind off of the shit that really didn't matter and focused on the bigger picture. When I was in high school, I was like, man, I'm gonna do this shit all brand new. I'm gonna be valedictorian. I had a goal of being valedictorian. I went to school and I cut a motherfucking rug my freshman year. And it was only because I felt the school was my fun time because I don't know. That was my shit. I was a class clown. I've always been that way. And so don't sell yourself short, man. That's all I'm trying to say. And be accountable for yourself. That's all that really matters when you're evolving and you're progressing and you're moving towards things and you're trying to focus on what really matters. It's holding yourself accountable. Because at the end of the day, when you can't blame it on nobody else, man. Not God, not nobody. When you have control. That was one thing I didn't understand. I didn't understand how much control of the situation, of any situation I really had. I feel like I always went into it kind of like, I'm in the blind and it'll work out however it's going to work out, but ultimately I just don't know. No, you got motherfucking keys in the motherfucking driver's seat. Drive that bitch and don't let your foot up off that gas unless you changing the gears on the clutch. Don't. When you shifting gears, that's the only time you can do that little quick switch. Shift that gear and put your foot right back on the gas and keep it pushing. But don't limit yourself from past mistakes or self-doubt or telling yourself, you're so incredible, you can do anything you put your mind to. And if no one's told you this, I believe in you. And I know you're probably like, I'm listening to this girl tell me this story in the damn dark, and she's whispering. And she's telling me that she believes in me. I believe in you. I believe that you can make your wildest dreams come true. And I believe the only thing that you have to do is believe that you can do it. And that's it. And hold yourself accountable the whole way. The whole way. I'm learning how to be consistent and to focus and to sacrifice. Those are three things that have been hard for me my whole life. My whole life. But at almost 25 years old, I really see the importance of having those things and what they really mean when you have a vision and you have a goal and you have a desire. If you can't focus on your goal, you'll go anywhere. If you can't sacrifice for your goal, you ain't gonna have shit. And if you can't be consistent, you damn sure ain't gonna get it. It's just not happening. You've got to work at that thing every day. That's all I had to say for you guys. I guess this is my April 8th video. I'll probably make another one. You guys already know I'm trying to get this shit right, you know. I'll be like a little skeptical about sharing those certain aspects of myself and my life, but this is why the fuck I started this shit in the first place, so that I could, number one, bring light to anybody that needs it. All right, because life is not easy, but nothing is easy. Nothing is fucking easy, literally. So I'll take the challenges that life hard has, because that's what makes me feel alive at the end of the day. And if I could be a source of light to anyone through the words, through my story, I'll be that. And secondly, I needed refuge of my own. I needed a way out of my head. And that's why I started this blog, so that I could do two things at once. Give light and have light. I wish you guys peace and blessings. I wish you guys a great, fantastic, super califragilisticexpialidocious day. I don't even know what that means, but I hope you have a spectacular, a splendiferous day. And I hope you make some money, and I hope something amazing happens to you. And I hope you start to believe in yourself, because that's all that matters at the end of the day, and holding yourself accountable. Peace, y'all.